Let's create a tour using Loquiz's tour tool. So we'll open the tour tool and we create a new tour. As always, the first step is to add the tasks. And I have created 4 tasks that are location specific and that has some history, is showing some history from Tallinn. So I'm just going to make it very small, but of course you might do it bigger. And the first thing you notice here is that they all have 0 points because it's not a game, we are not scoring anything. And when you put the score amount to 0, then it hides the score words from the application, so you don't see the score word at all, which is probably good when you're doing tours. Now please also note here that we have the tags, and I have added tags for each of the stories here. They're all in different locations and there are all stories, and these tags will be used to filter the locations within the app. So imagine that the player has tens or hundreds of locations to choose from, and they have a specific interest about history or the parks or statues, so they can choose their interest and they can actually visit the places they want to. Now the first step is adding the tasks, of course, but the next step is adding tags in the tour. And this is different to all other games because there are event specific tags or the tour specific tags. And the idea is that if you have tasks that have tags already, then you might need to add something that is tour specific. For example, it's the first day. So we add a task for the first day. Let's say this is the second day. And let's say that this is first day again. And this is second. I will show you later why we do that, but at the moment it's probably sufficient to say that we just want to make it possible to filter the tasks according to the day as well for the tourist. And now the next thing that you also need to think about here is that whether this task is shown on the map or on the list. So sometimes you want to have just a map so that people can visually see where the locations are, they can filter the right locations and go there. But sometimes you might also want to show something on the list. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show everything, all the 4 tasks we have in the list and on a map as well, so that they can easily switch between them. Now the next step, we go back to the Loquiz normal workflow, and the next step is adding the locations. Okay, so I have 4 locations set already with the tasks, and you see the location radius is 10 meters. But if we want to add a separate task that doesn't have the location, just informative task, informative story there, then we would need to add the location here if we want to add it to the map as well. In our case, we don't need to do that because it's already, everything has a location. And then there is a configuration screen. Now for the configuration screen, we need to give it game title. We can change the logo. At the moment it's Loquiz and I will leave it as such. And of course we need to give a kind of a information that we want the people to read before maybe they start the tour. And the finish message is not so important because most probably they will not finish it as they would finish a game. It's just ongoing tour. Now one important thing is that the English-based language, and if you are doing the games in other language, you might have different languages there, but it's not really reflecting tourism. It's more about gamification. So what we will do is that we will change the language to English tour. So this has a bit more tour-oriented strings in it. So instead of play the game, it says start the tour and stuff like that. So we don't want to have a time limit, so we just want people to wander around as long as they want to. We still need to keep it open, and we need the username and password to start the tour as a normal thing. We're not going to use the meeting point because it's just a tour, so we don't need to gather everybody to the same place. But then there are some stuff that we want to double check. So first of all, we are using native maps, and these are default. We have default a setting that allows to open all the tasks from the click. So sometimes in games you don't want to do that. You want people to actually go to the location so the question pops up. But here, as it's a tour, we want people to be able to open the stories, read them, and then maybe later go there. So this can be done. We also allow navigation. This opens the navigation app from outside of Loquiz and navigates you to the location. And we also want to allow filtering tasks by tags. So that is what we did previously, that we added the tags, and these can be used for filtering. And we also, what we want to do is that we don't want to display anything on a pin. So we just want to display the short intro under the pin. Okay. Few more things. So we can change the color. And you see here, we hide the score. So the score doesn't make any sense as well, as it's the tour. So the score is actually hidden by default. And that's pretty much what we need to do. Now we save it and let's see how it looks like.